I had quite the little surprise. I went to see this little movie called Copshop, a movie I didn't even know anything about, had never even seen the trailer, but I want to talk about it. All right, welcome back to the DL Jones Show. I'm your host, DL Jones. So Copshop. Now, this movie, I ended up getting an email a couple of weeks ago asking if I wanted to see a advanced screening of this movie. It has something to do with being a member of some type of AMC theater type thing. It was nothing special, but you know, I was like, sure, why not? So I went to see it yesterday, and I'll tell you right off the bat, I enjoyed it. But it's not just that. It's not quite that simple. You know, I had fun with it, but it's not quite that simple. Now, Copshop is sort of like a crime thriller drama type of movie. It stars, and it's funny, and I'm going to get back to this, but I'm going to tell you, if you look at the IMDb page, I'm looking at it right now, it has the stars as Frank Grillo, Gerard Butler, and Toby Huss, which of course, like I said in a couple of videos back, I think it was for, another review I did. I'll put the picture up here somewhere when I'm editing. But I said in that video that Frank Grillo is one of my guys. He's one of those people that if I see him as one of the actors in a particular movie, I'm pretty sure I'm going to go see it. I have a couple of people that's like that. You know, if I see their name listed in a movie, you know, that'll kind of make me want to see that movie a little bit more than I did before. And of course, when I saw this, you know, when I saw the poster for this movie, you know, of course you see Gerard Butler on the cover. Gerard Butler is fine. I think he's okay, but he's not anybody that I ever really rush out to see when I see his name on the marquee. He's one of those actors that I feel like, you know, I don't really have any affinity for him, you know, any of his movies or anything like that. But Frank Grillo was what brought my interest to this movie. I was like, yeah, I'm gonna see this movie got Frank Grillo in it. Let's see what Frank Grillo gonna do, you know? So I went and saw this movie, and like I said, I enjoyed it. First, let me tell you what this movie is about, the premise of the movie. Okay, I'm not gonna do any spoilers because this movie's not even in theaters yet. For the regular release date, I think the regular release date is September 16th or 17th or something like that. So we still got about a week before, according to when I'm recording this video, before it is actually released in theaters. But according to the IMDb website, I'll read the synopsis that it has on the IMDb website. It says, on the run from a lethal assassin, a wily con artist devises a scheme to hide out in a small town police station, but when the hitman turns up at the precinct, an unsuspecting rookie cop finds herself caught in the crosshairs. So, I mean, it doesn't really, you know, when I read that, you know, it doesn't really tell me a whole lot. You know, a lot of synopses don't, but it sounds interesting. Yeah, a guy, you know, some kind of con artist is hiding out from somebody that wants to kill him, then decides to hide in a police station. So this movie takes place almost completely at that police station. And you know, and I'm not going to do any spoilers. You know, I'm going to try to do this review as spoiler free as I can. I'm not going to do any spoilers. So that assassin, I'm saying that, then I'm going to tell you who the assassin is. That assassin is Gerard Butler. And then of course, Frank Grillo is the con artist just hiding out from the assassin. So the movie is pretty good. Now, basically how this movie goes is, it starts off with a couple of police officers. They're at this like wedding where people are getting rowdy, and then they go to arrest. They go to try to calm things down and everything. And all of a sudden, out of the blue, Frank Grillo comes up and punches the police officer in the face. And I'm like, why did he do that? Come to find out, he did it on purpose because his plan was to get arrested so he can be in jail, which at the beginning, you don't know that that's why he does it. So he gets arrested and he goes to jail. And then a little while later, they pick up a drunk guy, you know, and then they put the drunk guy in the jail, and he's in a cell across from Frank Grillo's character. And the drunk guy ended up being Gerard Butler's character. And Gerard Butler, he actually was pretending to be drunk. He got put in that jail on purpose because he is like a hitman. He's like an assassin, and he was hired to kill Frank Grillo's character, you know? So basically the whole movie, it's funny because this movie has like a little bit of a, sort of like a Quentin Tarantino style feel to it. It almost feels like if you took like Reservoir Dogs and Pulp Fiction and put it together, you kind of got this movie, but you have to make it only about as half as cool. and not quite as good, but it has that same similar type of feel, as far as how it was shot and how things happen. This is one of those movies where you have these different characters that they're not necessarily together, but they kind of come together because they're all got the same goal and they're kind of competing with each other. There's a lot of movies that's like that have these converging characters or converging storylines that come together at the end. They're all tied together by one task or one action that happens or need to happen or they want to happen. And that's how this movie is. It's pretty interesting because you got Gerard Butler, he's there to kill Frank Grillo. And then of course you got other people there showing up trying to kill Frank Grillo, and they're all competing with each other. And it's just like all of these different characters and with these different weird personalities and stuff like that. They kind of make for an interesting movie just to see what's going to happen, if they're going to get Frank Grillo or anything like that, and I'm not going to talk too much more about that. Just know that that's just basically the premise of this movie. Now, this movie, like I said, it had sort of like a Quentin Tarantino movie style feel to it. It felt similar. I wouldn't say it felt the same, but it felt similar. It felt like they tried to make a movie that feels like a Tarantino movie. And you kind of get that feel here and there throughout the movie. As the movie goes on, you get more into like more of it being more of a shoot 'em up, than like a little stylized feeling that you get when you watch a Tarantino movie. And I like that too. It was a lot of shooting up scenes. It was violence, it was like a couple of scenes of violence, not gratuitous, but it was, the scenes of violence that they have were pretty violent, And it was just interesting just to see this story come together. I was interested, in the movie. It kept my attention throughout the whole movie. But like I said, at the beginning of this review, I don't know if you call it a review, more of a reaction. At the beginning of this, I told you that the IMDb have it listed, has Frank Grillo, Gerard Butler, and Toby Huss listed as the main characters. But the main character to me was this woman right here. Now, her name is Alexis Louder or Loader. I'm not sure how you pronounce her name. I've never actually heard it said. I've never seen it. Well,
I can automatically set your volume.
I had to pause it for a few minutes because the lady in the little cylindrical tube heard her name and started talking. But anyway, I don't know too much about her. After looking into her after this movie, I realized that I've seen other movies that she was in. She was in The Tomorrow War, which I have to go back and watch it again because I don't remember her in that movie. But she made this movie for me. Forget Gerard Butler, forget Frank Grillo. She, Mrs. Louder, I don't want to say her first name again because it's going to wake up my little box hanging on the wall back here, but she was the one that made this movie for me. If it wasn't for her, I would have thought this movie was just a mediocre movie, but every moment she was on the screen, I was all in and I was rooting for her. Now, her role in the movie is that she was the police officer. Like I said, the police officer arrested Frank Grillo. Frank Grillo punched the police officer in the face so that he can get arrested. She was the police officer, and she played like this kind of character that was kind of she was a rookie, a rookie cop, and she was all gung-ho. She was all about being that police, following the rules and everything. And she had a couple of little things about her that gave her a little bit of a personality. Like she was into like older, like kind of collector's item style guns. Like instead of her carrying a regular, police gun, she had like an old school revolver, and she would sit there and practice twirling it around and all of this kind of stuff. But yeah, she made the movie for me. Alexis Louder, she made that movie for me. If it wasn't for her, I probably would have just been like pretty bored, because to be honest with you, Frank Grillo, his story between him and Gerard Butler, they were okay, but they weren't that interesting, Frank Grillo wasn't like the characters that he normally play, where he's like the action guy. He kind of played like a swarmy type character, kind of like trying to be a little sneaky and begging for his life and all of that kind of stuff. And Gerard Butler played a typical Gerard Butler style character. But Alexis Louder, she was the one that made the movie for me. If you go see this movie, go see it for her because she was the one that made this movie. I really enjoyed her performance. I enjoyed her character, and it just made me really enjoy this movie. You know, it made me want to go and see what other stuff she's been in, which I think she's fairly new because I don't think she's been in a lot of stuff. But it just makes me want to go and check her out and see what she's going to do next. But anyway, yeah, this movie, you know, I thought it was pretty good. If it was for Valerie, which is her name in the movie, if she was the one that made the movie for me, and she's the one that brought the movie up from, you know, being a pretty mediocre movie to being a movie that I, you know, had a lot of fun with and enjoyed, you know, and was still thinking about as I walked to the car after. But yeah, that was Copshop. It was a pretty good movie. It's sort of like a thriller, got some comedic elements to it, but it's pretty much a thriller. And I think if you get a chance to see it, I say go check it out. If you like Quentin Tarantino style movies, I would say check it out. It don't quite get to that point, but it still give you a similar feel, you know. But yeah, go check it out. And thank you for watching. I'll see you next time. Congratulations, you made it to the end of the video. While you're here, why don't you check out that video right there? Or maybe that one right there. And while you're at it, go ahead and click that little picture of my image there and subscribe to my channel.